Can there really be a company whose products are used by almost half the world's population every single day? Whether you brush your teeth with Close-Up in the morning, bathe with Lifebuoy or Lux, use Sunsilk or Clinic Plus for your hair, wash your clothes with Surf, Wheel, or Rin, or apply Pond's or Glow and Lovely after your bath, all of these products are sold by a single company, Hindustan Unilever Limited, HUL. And not just you, around 3.5 billion people use a Unilever product every single day. Because this company operates in more than 190 countries around the world, which is practically the whole world since there are about 195 countries in total. But the question is, how did a small company that started by selling soap grow so big that it now dominates the global market? The name, Hindustan Unilever Limited, sounds Indian, but is it really an Indian company? Or is there another truth behind it? And most importantly, what struggles and legal battles did HUL have to face to reach this point? To understand Hindustan Unilever Limited completely, we must travel back in time to 1885, when two brothers from Britain, William Hesketh Lever and James Darcy Lever, founded a company called Lever Brothers. This company made a soap called Sunlight, which became very popular in England and nearby countries. This soap wasn't just a cleaning product, it also carried a message of hygiene and health, which people loved. In 1888, boxes of Sunlight soap arrived at the port of Kolkata, India, marking the company's entry into India. The soap quickly became popular among Indians, and seeing this success, Lever Brothers launched another product called Lifebuoy. Both products received excellent feedback, encouraging the company to expand its business. However, they faced a major problem, a shortage of raw materials, especially palm oil, which was essential for soap production. Meanwhile, in the Netherlands, two businessmen, Jurgens and Van den Berg, were making margarine, a plant-based fat known in India as dalda. Competition in the margarine business was fierce, so in 1927, they merged their companies to form Margarine Uni. 2 years later, in 1929, Lever Brothers merged with Margarine Uni to form Unilever Limited. Now, you might wonder, what's the connection between a soap company and a margarine company? The answer lies in palm oil. Both industries depended heavily on it. Since sourcing palm oil was difficult, they decided to combine their resources and profits to start palm oil plantations, which fueled Unilever's global expansion. Within a few years, the company entered many new countries, including India. At that time, while India was fighting for independence from British rule, British companies were busy strengthening their businesses here. Around 1931, Unilever established its first company in India called Hindustan Vanaspati Manufacturing Company, which produced Dalda Vanaspati, a cheaper alternative to real ghee. Dalda became a household name in India, but this success didn't come easily. The Swadeshi movement, led by Mahatma Gandhi, was at its peak, and Indians were boycotting British goods. Because of this, many local Indian-made soaps and oils appeared on the market. Even though they were of lower quality, people preferred them as a mark of patriotism, and Unilever's sales declined sharply. To counter this, Unilever decided to start local manufacturing in India. In 1934, they opened their first soap factory in Mumbai, creating jobs and reducing product costs, since importing from Britain was expensive. This helped the company build a Desi or Indian identity and win back customers. In 1935, they started another company, United Traders Limited, for importing and exporting fabrics, metals, and chemicals. Then came 1956, when three of Unilever's Indian companies, Hindustan Vanaspati Manufacturing, Lever Brothers India, and United Traders, were merged to form Hindustan Lever Limited, HLL. Later, in 2007, the name was changed to Hindustan Unilever Limited, HUL. However, this merger wasn't simple. After India gained independence in 1947, the government imposed strict rules on foreign ownership. To comply, Unilever offered 10% equity to Indian shareholders and appointed Prakash Tandon, the first Indian director of the company. By 1955, 65% of HUL's managers were Indians, helping it appear more like an Indian brand, even though it remained a subsidiary of the British company Unilever plc. India proved to be a highly profitable market, and competition was limited. HUL launched Surf in 1959, Sunsilk shampoo and Anikvi in 1964, and entered the baby food segment by 1966. But in 1973, the government imposed price controls on products like soap and Vanaspati to fight inflation. This policy made it almost impossible for companies to make a profit. HUL's chairman at the time, T. Thomas, introduced a cheaper soap called Janta, but it didn't help much. Fortunately, the government later removed the price controls, saving HUL from shutting down. Another big challenge came when the government demanded that multinational companies transfer 51% ownership to Indians. Many global companies like Coca-Cola and IBM left India, but Unilever negotiated to retain control by agreeing to reinvest 60% of its turnover into projects benefiting India and to export 10% of its goods. Between 1972 and 1986, HUL acquired brands like Lipton, Brooke Bond, and Pond's, expanding into multiple sectors. However, during the 1980s and 1990s, HUL faced a detergent war with Procter & Gamble, P&G, which had launched Ariel. While they fought each other with aggressive marketing, a local brand, Nirma, captured most of the market. In response, HUL launched Wheel in 1985, a cheaper, skin-friendly Dete. In 1996, HUL and Tata created a 50-50 joint venture called Lakme Lever Ltd, but Tata exited in 1998, selling its share to HUL. The 1990s brought major growth, but in 2001, HUL faced a huge environmental scandal. Its thermometer factory in Kodaikanal, Tamil Nadu, was accused of dumping mercury waste into local forests, polluting the environment and causing serious health problems for workers and nearby residents. Under pressure, HUL shut down the factory in 2001, cleaned up 290 tons of mercury waste by 2003, and finally, in 2016, agreed to compensate the affected workers. Despite these controversies, HUL's success continued. In 2007, Brooke Bond and Surf Excel crossed 1,000 crore rupees in sales, and in 2008, Waistline hit 2,000 crore rupees. HUL also expanded in rural India, selling smaller, affordable product packs. But controversy returned with Fair and Lovely, India's top-selling fairness cream. Critics said the brand promoted color discrimination and gender stereotypes, that fairness equals success. After the Black Lives Matter movement intensified global criticism, HUL finally renamed it Glow and Lovely in 2020, shifting the focus from fairness to healthy glow. That same year, HUL merged with GSK Consumer Healthcare, bringing Horlicks and Boost into its portfolio. Thanks to decades of acquisitions and smart marketing, by FY 2023-24, HUL's turnover had crossed 60,000 crore rupees, and by September 2024, its market capitalization exceeded 7 trillion rupees, making it one of the most valuable companies in the world. Today, through its quality products, strong customer relationships, and sense of social responsibility, Hindustan Unilever Limited has truly become a part of every Indian household.